Are you familiar with this song? Do you know it? Have you heard it before? Well, if not, don't worry, you've heard it right now. So you're already wondering what the sample is, and I'm going to show you. This is a really good one. The song is Bla 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 by Gigi D'Agostino. Let's give it a quick listen. Okay, we're good. We're back in the room. This is a bit different to the songs I usually do, to be fair. It's not really hip-hop, house, breaks, any of that. It is Eurodance. And that's what I wanted to talk a bit about today, was Eurodance and what it was all about. So, first of all, my get-up today is inspired by Eurodance. I got the matching trackie. Shout out to my buddy Conman who gifted me this. I have these lovely sunglasses, which were also a gift, right? A kind of a freebie at a wedding a couple of weeks ago, and it was a wedding between a Eastern European guy and a East Coast US girl. Great wedding in the Boston Library, which turned into kind of a rave after, and had a bunch of Eurodance songs, because this sound is priceless, timeless, you might even say. And it did originate from US and Europe, right? It originated in the late 80s, early 90s, when the club sound was coming over from the US, like house and stuff that I've talked about before. But the Germans injected it with some of their own energy and their own sound, and it was a different time, right? You got to think of the positivity in Europe in the 90s, right? You had Berlin Wall fell down, the EU was growing, more countries traveling around without borders, you had the World Cup in play, you had a bunch of positivity reflected in the music, right? So you can hear that sound. It also came off the back of the kind of Italo disco sound, as well as just the general atmosphere of beaches and European parties versus the gritty kind of subculture that it was more like with house and techno, you might say. So, where are we then? We have this sound that was the first kind of early Eurodance. Let's give it a listen. Can't deny the urge that makes them want to lose themselves to the debonair. Once pulled me back. The simple fact is that I'm all that, and I'm always there. One sexy can't perplex me. Now you know who's raw. As if you didn't know before. I know what I want, and I want it now. I want you, and then I want a little more. Great example there, right, of the early style, which had the kind of Beauty and the Beast formula, the lovely lady singing and the angry rapping guy going back and forth in the song. Snap, Rhythm as a Dancer, had a very similar sound, as did Be My Lover. That was the early form, right? And like I said, it was positive, fun music all over the clubs, right? Here's another great example you probably know.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. What is love?
Great stuff, right? And like I said earlier, not really samples in this music, right? Far from samples, it was reared. It wasn't like much of a mashup. It was a distinct sound that was the kind of 909 drums. The bass was lately bass was the preset, or solid bass, I think is the other name for it. This kind of preset sound you hear there.
What is wrong? Give me a sign.
And of course the piano sounds like the Korg M1 played a crucial part. And it was a sound taking over the continent, right? It was really, really growing, and all different countries were giving their own songs towards this. It was a really united sound, and of course in clubs it popped off. It also had some components, right? And I'm going to show this song, Blue, Blue.
Blue world and all day and all night.
I think this song is a really example of Eurodance and the types of components, right? So the first thing a lot of these songs had was a vocal hook, right? A kind of a vocal thing like the Scatman had, or the Venga Boys, which was just something that everyone could sing along to, just like this one. So if you think of Europe having 20 odd official languages, you need something that unites people across borders. Don't use English. Use something like that, or use something that's easy to repeat. The second thing a lot of these songs did was had a melody, synth solo line, whatever you want to call it, that copied the vocals. Always had that. And the third component, which lines up perfectly here, is the offbeat bass, right? That lately bass. Take a listen. And what I mean by offbeat here is, you know, the kick is on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and the bass comes in the off 1 E and A 2 E and A 3 E and A 1 E and A 2 E, just like that. And that was a really, I feel, defining sound of Eurodance. I'm no Eurodance expert, but to me that's the sound that I'm reminded of, and it blared out so well through any type of sound system. And that bass, particularly that preset, cut through a lot of you can just hear it, right? You know what it is. It's fine. It's all good. But anyway, what happened to that sound, right? You hear it now, you're kind of like, that is cheesy, right? And that's the way it went. It kind of just turned into cheese, commercial cheese. The cheese continued to bubble almost like a raclette or a fondue or some other European bubbling cheese metaphor. And I believe this is the kind of the jumping the shark moment, or the peak was Aqua.
Let's go party.
Like, this song, whatever you want to say about it, was huge, right? It was all over the gap. Everyone knew this song. It charted. It spent weeks at #1, multiple countries. Almost like a satire of this kind of Beauty and the Beast thing again, and just cartoony kind of stuff. And I think that's what, not this song, right? But that's the point, where it's just commercial and people outgrew it, right? This is, I don't want to hear that anymore. There's only so much of that you can take. So where did it go, right? Dance music and electro music never really left the mainstream. It's always ebbed and flowed, right? EDM, in particular, that EDM boom, they say, in the US and across the world in the kind of 2010s, with Skrillex and Diplo and David Guetta and all these guys coming into pop, right? Is a good example. But what I mean, right after this, I think Eurodance kind of went down a few paths, right? And I have a couple examples here. One of the paths that went down was the happy hardcore, kind of like leaned into the cheese. This was really aimed at like kids and teenagers, and still in the clubs, had a huge scene. But those who loved those sounds, this catered to them, right? And almost amped it up even more. And this is an example here from Special D. And like, that to me is the stuff that like all these guys would have playing in their car. It might sound a bit like this driving by. Or you'd hear it on the back of the bus, or you'd hear that distorted bass. Like that, right? Again, that melody copying. So that's a variation of Euro bass. I think the other place it went was trance, which was always alongside it. Trance is a beautiful genre of kind of more atmospheric yet kind of tribal, psychedelic, pounding beats, drops, whatever you want to call it. And I think particularly DJs like Tiesto and that were the next big boom after Eurodance. But around the time, there was lots of trance kind of coexisting in a similar way. This is one song I love, Liquid Child. Like that was one of my favorites, and you can hear the kind of similarities of Eurodance there, and trance obviously went and evolved and is still evolving to this day. But for me, I went down the trance route, right? I wouldn't say I really like loved or sought out Eurodance, but it was a big part of my childhood and the very first sort of dance halls I went to. And then when I was old enough to go to raves, I sought out trance, right? And almost hard house stuff as well. But yeah, great times. But let's come out of, well, let's just listen to this very quickly. You see the way it's still very, very happy here around the late 90s before trance got like dark. Or you have Gigi D'Agostino, right? The captain, the Italian stallion. And he originally was a kind of Italo disco DJ, so he grew up understanding that and understanding the melody, which has always been a big part of Italian music. But he found a middle ground between that kind of harder sound and the melodic trance in his own productions, right? So, like I talked about, right, my original clubbing days was as a 12 or 13-year-old. You get a naggin of vodka, some cigarettes, meet your friends in a field and drink, and then all head down to the local function hall where there'd be a huge system playing this kind of stuff. Like, I don't know, it was a great time, and to me it was my first clubbing days, like I said, right? I was like, what is going on? And Gigi's songs always stood out to me as the ones I really enjoyed and really were just catchy and fun. There's one in particular here that you must know. It's L'amour toujours off his debut album as well, which has this synth line. And that was like one of these call to actions on the dance floor. That's just what Gigi was really good at, was creating a like memorable, catchy sound, whether it was through like that Riddle cover we heard, through synths like this, or through Bla Bla Bla, which is the vocal stab. So this was one of my all-time favorites. Even when I didn't like Eurodance as much, this would still come on when I was in college or something, and everyone would go wild because it was like your nostalgic song. And yeah, something I have to say is, which is an absolute shame, unfortunately I've read that some people have turned this into a hateful song, right? Which is more about division than uniting. Obviously, look, the world's a crazy place, but club music is built on love. Try not to use it to divide, right? There's enough hatred you can find in your phone or wherever you want to go if you're angry like that, but let's not try and ruin a great song. That's all I'll say on that. But Gigi D'Agostino had some great ones, right? And of course, Bla 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 is one of those. So we need to talk about the sample, because like I said, there's an interesting sample here. And it comes from none other than Fleetwood Mac. I don't think so. But Fleetwood Mac is involved in the song that made Blah Blah Blah. So, what do we do here, folks? First of all, I want to introduce my guest here who's been sitting here patiently. It's Dr. Sample, aka the Boss Man, aka SP303. Hello, Dr. Sample. How you doing today?
Hello.
Are you doing well?
Hello.
Great. Now, some other exciting news. We've hit 2,000 subscribers. All right, I just saw that yesterday. That is insane. And I just want to give a big thank you to everyone watching this silly show and watching me figure out the samples with the doctor. It's great, right? I'm really happy. I'm going to keep doing these now. Originally I was going to do like 10, but because people are enjoying them, I'm aiming for 20. Why not? Doctor, do you have anything to say to the viewers?
Thank you.
He's saying thank you, right? That's great. So let's get back into Fleetwood Mac. Do you know Fleetwood Mac? Have you heard of them before? Well, they were a big band, British/American. They had a load of hits. This is one of them. This is Everywhere. Give it a listen.
Can you hear me calling out your name? You know that I'm falling and I don't know what to say. I speak a little louder, I'll even shout. You know that I'm proud and I can't get the words out.
Like, they were just a brilliant band. But anyway, they had a lot of hits, a lot of drama, a lot of cocaine, and a lot of messing around in the band. So at one point, the drummer, Mr. Mick Fleetwood, decided to set up a tour, right? And he said, we're going to get Fleetwood Mac on tour. I'm the only member of the band here, but I'm going to recruit some lads to step in. So he did that. And he got in touch with these musicians, right? So they came along and they get there and Mick Fleetwood's not there, right? He's ghosted them. He's disappeared. They still do the tour, but people are going and like, there's literally nobody from Fleetwood Mac here. What is going on? It's just these guys. And there was a lot of backlash and tour was disbanded. Like, the manager was like, keep playing, but the crowds were like, no. And Mick Fleetwood was like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. And it was a whole bit of drama, right, from Fleetwood Mac. So that band then went on to form Stretch. So this was a funk band. Yes, the Brits can do funk. They've done a lot of it. But this was also a diss track to Fleetwood Mac. A Fleetwood Mac diss track. A Mac diss track, if you will. And this is what they wrote. Now, listen carefully. Because the first line of this, you're going to hear something.
I've been thinking about what you have done to me.
Now, what do you think of that? What do you think when he said, I've been thinking about what you have done to me? Well, whatever you're thinking, Gigi, our buddy Gigi, the captain, thought, I'm going to sample that, right? And that's exactly what he did. He sampled that bit right there. And we're going to do the same, right? So we're going to clear our pads. The doctor likes starting on a clean slate. And we're going to sample in that part from the beginning right here.
I've been thinking about what you have done to me.
A diss at Fleetwood. And what we're going to do is we're going to resample each of those bits, right? So where this comes from is the I've been thinking about what you have done to me. So we need to chop it up, you know, slap chop. and get it in there. So let's do that. I'm going to resample into 2.
I've been thinking about. I've been thinking.
That's the third one, right?
Thinking about.
Out. Did you hear that?
I've been thinking about what you have done to me.
Just remarking there. So that's the first one. Let's resample the second one.
I've been thinking about.
I've been.
I've been.
I've been. Let's do the third one. You're starting to see what's happening now.
I've been thinking about what. I've been thinking.
That's what's blah blah blah. Isn't that cool? It's I've been thing.
I've been thinking.
Let's keep going so we get all bits in.
I've been thinking about what.
About.
I've been thinking about what. I've been thinking what. I've been thinking about.
About.
I've been thinking about what you have. I've been thinking about. I've been thinking about what. I've been thinking. I've been thinking. Been thinking. Been thinking. About thing.
Isn't that crazy? And there's one other bit which is the 2. Ba ba choo, ba 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 choo. Let's resample that.
I've been thinking about what you have done to me.
So it's the second, it's the 2, not the chew, right?
I've been thinking about what you have done to me. I've been thinking about what you have done to me.
There we have it, right? That's the sample. He took this.
I've been thinking about what you have done to me.
And he turned it into this.
I've been thinking.
So let's tweak them slightly. So there we have it, right?
I've been thinking.
So we have it now, but clearly there's a reverb on there, right? When we hear it here. And a bit of delay too, but let's talk a bit about the effects here. I haven't done this before. There's a bunch of effects here on the SP303, and they're really nice sounding effects too, right? How you access them is through this, right? MFX. So if I put on, there's a reverb. If I wanted to put on a tape echo, or a chorus, there's a bunch of these here. You even have stuff like slicers at the end. But I'm going to stick with the reverb. No, and I want to put it on the rest. I use remain, right? So I have this selected, hit remain, hold remain, sorry.
I've been think.
So Gigi sampled that vocal, right? Just, sorry, making sure I'm actually recording down there. Sampled that vocal and turned it into a stab, almost like a synth. So let's do a cover. Let's loop some of it. I don't know, is there an instrumental? There we go. Let's loop that. And my effects has gone off. Okay. So the pattern is that thing bout bin is the kind of response, like the one and a two and a one e and a two, one e and a two, one e and a two. Oh, interesting. So another song came up in the playlist here that might be fun. I'll mash up here with Omar S. That's slower, so it's a bit easier. But let's try it one more time. go, right? Why don't we mash it up with Fleetwood Mac as the ultimate diss track. This is DJ Ned's mashup diss track 2025 edition, live edition. You get the idea. I'm messing here, folks. I'm messing. But anyway, keep doing your thing. Keep watching. Hopefully, if you enjoy them, keep subscribing. Keep the love going, right? We need more love in this world. Check out my glasses. They're a perfect sign of that. Please subscribe. Please put some requests in the comment. I hope you enjoyed. Requests in the comments is what I should say. Hope you enjoyed. Stay safe and have fun. And we'll see you next time.